Hello, this is Cheryl, and I'm so grateful you're joining me today. Trust that this safe and loving space is exactly where you are meant to be, to ignite your higher self and empower you in this very moment in time. There are no coincidences, so trust the nudges that call to you. As I open, channel, and share today's light-filled conversation, take what resonates with you and leave the rest. We are all working to uncover the truths that will serve us on our unique journeys. Each new day brings discovery, and this truth is always empowering, illuminating, and available to us. Now is your moment to deepen your spiritual connection. If it's light, it's right. Hello and welcome to another episode of If It's Light, It's Right. Today's episode is one of curiosity for most of us, and myself included. And it's a part one of a two-part mini-series about dimensions. And dimensions being that of untouchable, right? Those that are kind of questioning if it exists because our human mind has difficulty finding facts with it. So today's episode is going to be about the other side for us, the other dimension for us that we generally associate as heaven. And the next time that we meet again, we're going to talk about dimensions other than heaven. And there are many, 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 many dimensions. And we're just going to talk about the next episode how they're similar and different to our realm, our dimension that we currently exist in. So it's a very interesting topic to just kind of, I always say, dip your little spiritual toe in there and see how the water feels, right? Always remember that spirituality has no rules, no have to's. So even though I speak the words that I will speak, and I will speak from my spiritual perspective. So, as I always encourage you when you're listening, trust your downloads. Trust that what speaks to you and maybe what doesn't, right? What doesn't. Take what you need and leave the rest is always a beautiful place to go with your spirituality, and trust that. So, when we move and kind of shift our thinking to the other side, right? We're leaving this earth's thinking and moving to the other side for today's episode. And I decided to format it in the 5W kind of format, just some loose what, when, where, who, and I left why purposely last, and there's a reason for that. And I'm also going to share with you a unique spiritual journey that Cheryl, voyaged to. And so stay tuned for that because it was a profound experience for me, but it can be anybody's experience. So stay tuned for that. So when we talk about the other side, generally we call it heaven, but it doesn't have to be the word heaven. So maybe you're in the place where you're not sure if that such a place exists. And I say, beautiful. I was doing a reading the other day, and a woman said to me, "I don't believe in heaven." And what do you think about that? And I said, I have no judgment. It is your path. It is your way of finding your truths. So, however that speaks to you, let it speak. By saying it, there's a curiosity to find truths, or maybe establishing that fact of your human thinking to apply it to something that is unseen with our humanness. So stay open to it. Light never frightens, it never warns. It is always for comfort of home. And that is sometimes a word that is used as well when we talk about the other side, heaven or home, the lighted realm, spirit world. There is a collection of words. So again, choose your own. Just leave what speaks to you because it is a mystery of our spiritual faith because we cannot touch it. We cannot open fully to it because we are so human. We are so much in the physical realm. It is a very difficult place to go completely and sit down with your higher self and go, okay, show me what you got to show me. Let me see exactly what the other side looks like. Who's there? What's the what, where, when, why? Tell me it all. It doesn't exist, because when we are human, we're incarnated to forget that to a degree, right? There is a layer of trust and a layer of openness that we can uncover little pieces, but we aren't meant to be here on this physical journey and be completely open to um, our experience on the other side. So just stay open, and if you feel confused, you're in a beautiful place. I am such a work in progress with that understanding, and we'll kind of talk about that as we kind of keep on moving. So when we are on the other side, and that's what today's episode is all about, there is no earthly emotion. So if you followed me in my episodes, all that junk that we collect on this side, we leave on the earth's plane. Keep it. I don't want it. We move beautifully to the other side. There's just love and peace that resides on the other side. No karma, because karma is that ick, right? Those things I didn't do so well in this lifetime. That stays on the earth's plane. And so it's really hard to find words to support the other side. And I say too, in my journey on many different levels, is the vernacular doesn't always transcribe word for word. It just doesn't. And accept that. Find your words that support it, or say that's coming close to it, but it doesn't quite hit it. And that is how our spirituality grows. That is how we learn our truths. And we don't have to defend them. We don't have to persuade others. Open to your truths. Maybe they're kind of floating in as you listen to me. Maybe you are moved to read a book that speaks to you. Remember, books do choose you, just as podcast does, just as any intent that you send, which you give spirit and ask that you need, they will respond. So open to whatever speaks to you. Because humans, we don't have an absolute account for the other side, number one. And remember, we're so concrete in our thinking. Remember, the human brain is three-dimensional. It has organic matter to it. So it is part of our human ego system and not our spiritual system. So so to say I know exactly what happens on the other side, I'd love to talk to you if that's your belief, because I'd love to hear your thoughts. Not that I will take your thoughts completely, but I am just as you're listening here, I am very much open to hearing how other people view and feel the other side. That is something that I don't think will ever be quenched for me. And as I speak in this episode, it's about my understanding. It's about what I want to bring to you. But please fit it how it speaks to you. And I strongly encourage that, because it's my understanding. And then just keep expanding, right? What you feel today might be just the starting point, and then tomorrow, a month, a year from now, you go, that's how I started, but now I'm here. That is how knowledge is increases when it comes to spirituality. Very often we don't get the cut and dry because it doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist on the other side, as it does in our human journey, right? There's generally right and wrongs. There is no right and wrongs on the other side. Even with near-death experiences, and I've done an episode on that. I do believe in that. I do believe that our spirit moves to these places and we come back into our body for various amount of reasons. So look back at my episodes for that near-death experience if you want to open to some truths there. But even near-death experiences, when they come back and retell them, their details are generally sparse, not generally a lot. And they're not all the same. So they have very, very variable ways of that experience, and all being where their human body stops. They move in astral travel to places, meet people, talk to people, don't see any people, but know all different experiences. But they all are They all are within my faith, generally. Again, I can't say for every one of them, but I truly, truly believe that we do travel outside our bodies and we're brought back to our bodies for reasons of purpose. So again, even that detail, there's no same way, right? And that's how not only spirituality happens, but my knowledge of the other side. And when we're talking about the other side, before we get into our 5Ws per se, spirits and angels can't give us those crisp details either, right? Wouldn't that be great? I always say in my readings or anything, wouldn't it be great if your mom sat down and go, okay, Cheryl, tell her this, 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 and this. Oh, would we love that? But that's not how it works because we are of human form. So there's lots of static that we have to kind of work towards, whether you're a medium but we're all beautifully psychic, so we all can create that communication, and we have to decipher it, right, through symbols and signs, and use our psychic abilities to really find find where we're supposed to go with that truth that's trying to find its way to us. So trust that. Try not to put a fence up against that, because that is the opposite of where you'll get your information. Keep open and keep receiving. And the I want to get on my grandstand and scream this, because this applies to not only our dimension, the other side, but every dimension. We were created in spirit with free will. Our divine source, who I call God gave us all beautiful free will, and we take that in every realm. Whether it's the other side, heaven, whether it's earth, whether it's other dimensions that we'll talk about another time, free will is always in our existence. It's always our gift that never leaves us. We just have to tap into it, especially when we're in human form. And so again, there's no right wrong way of receiving or understanding the lighted accounts that happen. Again, near death experience being one that most of us have heard, whether you if you feel that is an accurate experience or not, that will never be judged. It really is your choice. But I say keep yourself open. If you close a door so quickly, it generally is because of your ego. It generally is because of something that you maybe a fear, or you. So stay open to why you close that door so quickly. Not that you don't have a right to do that, because there is no right and wrong, but when you close a door so quickly, that generally feels like a right and wrong. And that won't be part of your spiritual knowledge or your spiritual receiving. And again, my share today is going to be viewing my Akashic records, my soul's blueprint on the other side. And again, my experience and how I created that experience, or I opened to that experience. So stay yourself open to as well. I'm going to come back to the 5 Ws in just a second. I just want to take a short break. I'll be right back. Other side, 5 Ws. Again, I won't get into every piece because it's impossible, and I don't have the answers. I only have my belief, my understanding of what I see, feel, and hear from spirit. So open to yours. I am not the I, I am not the aficionado on the other side. I just go with what I know are my truths. You expand to yours. So what is the other side? We talk about this heaven, this home, this lighted realm, spirit world. What is this? It truly is a mirror image of the other side, which is called Earth. So Earth is a mirror of the other side. And it is a mirror for reasons of purposefulness. It is a mirror of, it was created in that way. And I'll talk about that in a second. And so what else is the other side? What does it look like? It has buildings and landscapes and all different things. But here's the caveat to that. It's what you create is what is there. There isn't technically all those places, but I have to open to maybe there are some. They feel very authentic to me when I visit that, but I don't know what your experience is, right? I've talked a small amount of people, but it is a high level of awakening that can feel strong enough in their experience to speak about that. So when I go there, I have certain places that I visit, and they are real to me, and they are not real because it's on the other side, and real is to me physical and three dimensional. So again, the vernacular it gets a little bit confusing, but I hope you can stay with me on this. And so again, what we imagine, we create, and I know that's really hard to understand. It is even for me, even when I'm visiting there, and I know I'm where I am. But again, you have to just trust the mysteries of your spirituality, faith of your spirituality, and ask. Keep asking questions. Don't just sit there in confusion. Keep asking and see what you receive. And keep expanding to how that builds more and more for you. Because what the other side is, it's made of energy and frequencies. It is not physical. There's nothing to touch like there is on this earth's realm. But it is set up for it to be the mirror, for Earth to be the mirror image. And there is a reason for that. And so when was the other side, I mean, when did the other side become a place? Again, the vernacular gets really confusing sometimes, but stay with me again, please. When our spirits were created from God, from source, from divine, that is when the other side was birthed. And then the physical world came. Because remember, the physical world is a mirror image of sorts to the other side. To the other side. So how we are on Earth's on the spirit side is the same as the Earth's plane. But remember that we create what we need. We create our thoughts of love, and those thoughts of love are transferred. Let me just give you a quick example. I love to be in a lake environment. I love the lake. I love the trees. So when I go to the other side, I create that. I create that scene. It's not a scene, it's a feel for me. I'm there, I see it, I feel it. But I also know that it doesn't truly exist, not in my human mind, but I know I've created that for comfort. Um, and that's where it gets really, it can get very confusing, right? Because it doesn't exist, but it exists. What are you talking about? I don't have more for you than kind of that. You have to just kind of sit with what feels to be your truth. And so when the other side was created, spirit was created at because we had to have a place to look, right? So our spirits were all created by source, and our free will was granted at that time. And from the other side, we watched Earth create. And again, from your history and knowledge of Earth, wherever that stands, um, I'm not sure. It's a realm I guess I never really went into. It just came to me. But when was the first human touch the Earth's plane? I don't know that, but I do understand that it wasn't all the spirits that could come, right? There's billions of spirits on the other side. And they couldn't all come to Earth at the same time. So we all watched and we learned. And as the Earth came to be and aged a bit, again, I'm being very basic in my words, a small amount of us began incarnating. It's not like now where half of us are here and half of us on the other side, generally speaking. I don't know what the future Earth looks like. Will it be more spirits coming? Will it be a majority of spirits incarnating, not incarnating? Um, I don't have a feel for that, nor do I have a desire to look to that for my knowledge. And I give that thought to you as well. don't take it all. It's too much. It's too much to fathom. It's too much to expand to. So I don't I don't need all those answers. I have my collective thoughts. I have my collective knowledge. I inquire when I inquire. So I send that to you as well. Don't take it all. Take just what nods to you in your curiosity. Where is the other side? We live in it. We live in it. And I know it's hard to explain. So again, I always say open your heart and just ask. Ask it specifically. Clear that earth chatter. Clear, ask, receive, right? Drive your car real fast. Clear, ask, receive. And it's hard to explain, but I know that that's a fact. My spiritual fact. And I always leave it with me. And also, the other side is just housed, built, again, I'm using human words, just slightly higher than our Earth's surface because the Earth has a much lower hum and vibration to it because of the density of the Earth. And the other side has a very high frequency, a very high vibration. So they're slightly higher than us. And that's speaking from a medium standpoint. That is how mediums communicate with spirit on the other side, is they meet that frequency, and every medium has a different frequency meet. That is how a medium, a born medium, can just kind of communicate in a vast way. And so that frequency and where it is how the communication of the loved one happens. And I want to just put this in because I know that that's important. I know some of you are already saying that too. Well, does that mean my loved one's like right here with me in the same room? Yes and no. The frequency and the vibration doesn't mean they sit there and they have nothing to do but look at you. That absolutely does not exist. And I will always take it a caveat higher, because I know that people like, oh, that freaks me out that that my loved one could be seeing me in the bathroom, or seeing me in intimate locations, or they're seeing things that I wish they didn't see. Trust that that does not happen. It does not happen. What happens is our loved ones meet us when we call them. They see, feel, and hear when we want them to. They can't hold the denseness of the hum. They can't stay in this earth's realm to witness and to be with you always. It's just too much work for a spirit to do. So they see, feel, and hear our thoughts, because our thoughts are at a very high frequency. So it's an easier easier access. So do not worry about that, right? And first of all, spirit has no judgment. So always know that first and foremost. Okay, so the next W is who's there, and we already talked about that a little bit. I'm going to tell you who's there is any and every spirit that chooses to be on the other side. No matter what their deed was on this earth's plane, and some are heinous, right? Some are really heinous. And I won't go into a lot of detail on that because that's not what this episode's about. But our hearts are open. And if we choose the light at the time of our passing, the gate, and that's metaphorical, the gate is always open. God always welcomes us. No one is held back that wants to move in. And remember, as I said in the beginning of the episode, is all that junk gets left on the earth's plane. All those deeds are part of our karmic junk that stays on the other side, and we move beautifully to the other side, and recognizing and taking responsibility of the things maybe we didn't do so well in a prior lifetime, or a lifetime that we just left. So it's not like it gets swept away and never seen again. That doesn't exist. But on the other side, because it is free of ego and earth's emotions, and the junk gets left in, that we are beautifully of light on the other side. Again, no matter what we did while we were here, we are always welcomed. Also on the other side are our angels and our spirits at every level. There's very highly evolved spirits and angels that have worked very hard to help us in this journey, not just this journey, but many journeys, making our Earth's experience better, right? Always trying to better the Earth in everything that happens in there. And this we could be on this topic for a long time. But again, all angels and spirits are on the other side in various amounts of forms. Also, our pets and animals reside on the other side. I got asked this question just the other day. I lost my pet a year ago. Do you read pets? And I say, they're like any spirit, so they have to be open to come. But yes, our animals and pets are on the other side, loving and happy and waiting for us 100 years from now when we will join them as well. So trust that. Ask to speak to them. Ask them to visit you. They will. They communicate the same way as our loved ones, but in a very simple manner. In a very simple manner. I'll just say that. I don't want to get into too much detail, but they come just to kind of, hi, be petted, get a smile out of you, tell them they're okay. And it's just a very simple, beautiful experience when our pets do kind of visit us. And animals on the other side of every piece, every type of animal. And again, what we love, we create, right? So trust that that is there as well. And I left this last W purposefully, and I asked why. Why is there an other side? Why? And this will feed the next episode of Other Dimensions as well. And so, why is there a heaven? Why is there a spirit world, a lighted realm? Why? And every dimension has their own other side. We call ours heaven, right? And remember what I said too about our other side is a mirror image. So we watch, right? We create change, beautiful change. For those that are incarnated and for us going to be incarnated, right? We have a place we can watch. We can help others. There is a connection. And that is why every dimension has an other side for that same exchange, But you'll see that the next episode that our dimension is the most demanding of dimensions in terms of the Earth's realm, and the help that is necessary and needed from the lighted realm. And so by having on the side, we connect, we help, we return back after a physical lifetime and understand and find counseling, and we find understanding of what we did well and maybe things we didn't do so well. And that is why it has to be connected for that reflection of sort. Again, that word doesn't match beautifully on the other side either, but I use that word for understanding. And so when we place ourselves in a physical vehicle, when we incarnated, having home and that light in our heart brings comfort. It brings comfort. It brings peace. It brings understanding. It brings truths. And so that lighted realm being so mirror-like and so close to our human journey is imperative for our ascension, right? And the reason why that we choose to come to the Earth's plane. So speaking on that behalf in path, I am going to just take a short break, and then I'm going to tell you about my beautiful voyage to find my records, my soul's blueprint. I'll be right back. So my share today is one of the most profound experiences I've really ever had while meditating. It was, and I will encourage you to any experience that you have. It is like a wow factor, but like a hum of wow. And I can't really say it any more than that. I think if you've had those experiences, or when you do get those experiences, that really will make a lot of sense to you. So one time during deep meditation, and I had been sending this request, and I say, send your intents, send what you want to experience, to find out, to receive. Send that, because I went into a meditation. It was a very deep meditation, but I wasn't intending on going where I went, but I had sent that intent earlier. So again, keep your heart open, because sometimes those intents find their way to you in sleep, not maybe so much meditation. Not everybody is understanding of meditation. There's no secret to it. It really is just shutting that earth chatter. There's no secret to it. But sleep is a place where I can shut that earth chatter off, right? Because I do fall asleep. So very often experiences happen during your sleep time too. So stay open to that. So coming back to my experience. So I was in a meditation, and I was moving through my meditation, and I do astral travel in my meditation often. And again, whenever you feel that you're moving in a place that's familiar, that's astral travel. That is where your soul is kind of moving to a space that is created on the other side, or a lighted experience in some sort. So what happened to me again was extraordinary. So I found myself, and be open to how it comes, right? Sometimes you just feel it, sometimes you see it, sometimes you hear it, sometimes you just know it, right? Those are our psychic senses. And so trust however it shows up to you, however you resonate with it. I'll use my verbs. So I'm clairvoyant, so I see pictures in my mind, and videos, but I was standing in front of a massive building. On the other side, it was pure white, it was glowing, it was majestic. And I understood it as a hall of records. I understood that as a hall of records, and I was standing in front of it, and I knew where I was. And so I stepped inside, and the space inside that building just took my breath away. It was incredible. I was totally in awe of looking at it. And I was spiritually there, but I was still in my human thinking. And again, that is part and parcel of what this episode's about, right? It is my experience. It is what maybe I created. I'm open to kind of understanding that. I'm not I'm not sure that the Hall of Records truly exists there, but it did for me. Maybe it is always there. I'm not sure of that. I don't have a truth around that yet. Maybe if ever, but it was for me, and it was a true experience that I experienced. So when I was in that space, and I looked up, and I was in the middle of, like, I always say it was like a Harry Potter scene. It was like, and maybe that was part of what I created. Again, I'm open to that, but it was an authentic experience, and I keep saying that because I want you to hear that for you, for you. I'm not here to convince you of that. I'm here for you to say, okay, I've had an experience like that. Maybe it didn't look like that. All right, let me open to mine. So I was in the middle of the two bookcases, and the bookcases went straight up, higher than my eyes could see. It was like almost into the clouds, is how it kind of felt. And then all of a sudden, I felt my body moving in between those huge shelves on my left and my right, in a vortex. And I was just spinning, 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 and being brought up in the middle. And then all of a sudden, I just stopped. And then a book came flying out from my left, and it landed in my hands. And I knew that was my soul's blueprint. That is where all my soul's journeys were in. Was it a real book? Is there such a thing on the other side? It was real to my human experience during meditation. And I phrase it that way purposefully. And so, did that building truly exist, or was it the spirit's way of helping me understand the other side? I don't feel the need to define or defend that, as I said before. I just simply know what I experienced, and I believe it was given to me as a profound reminder of who I am and the vastness of what we all are as souls. The other side is still quite a mystery. while we're in our physical form. When we open to our lighted senses, we may see and feel things differently because each of us experience spirit in the way we've chosen or the way we've asked for. It's how our mirror of the other side is revealed to us. Just as in all things spiritual, there is no cookie cutter truth, no single way to understand. This is one of the great mysteries of divine knowledge. It asks us to open our hearts and trust what feels true for us. When I find myself searching for a concrete human answer, my guides remind me gently, your human mind can't define this. You must trust. And that trust doesn't always come from what you can see or prove. Sometimes it's a belief that stirs your soul or an image that brings peace to your heart. Because when we imagine, what we create becomes part of the other side's very fabric. So open your heart. Trust that there are no right and wrongs, no buildings and yet buildings, no music and yet music, no rules, only what your soul recognizes as real. As for your own experiences, just as I did, trust what arrives and keep asking your questions. And remember, if it feels light, it is right. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you for allowing me to accompany you on your journey today. There's so much for us to explore and learn together. If there's a light-filled topic you're curious about, or if you just want to reach out, I'd love to connect. Follow me on social media at Cheryl Bradley Medium, or visit cherylbradley.com to explore my offerings and events. I hope today's episode has filled you with the light to carry with you until we meet again. And let the title of this podcast stay with you today and every day. If it's light, it's right. Blessings on your journey.